Hey guys, welcome back to another Fallout 4 settlement tour. Yes, I know it's been quite a long time. It's been the video playlist has been on hiatus for a while, and I'm very much sorry about that. Got a few things to deal with in my life, but I'm back and I plan to continue to try and upload more of these videos as best I can. This time we are tackling Coastal Cottage, as you can see. I apologize ahead of time. Normally when I try to do these recordings, it's usually around noon, as best I can. In-game is when I try to do it as far as the timeline, to make sure everyone's there where they need to be, especially where I have them set up, I guess you can say. But ultimately, something always ends up happening, and I think I need to just go ahead and realize that the Brahmin makes its visit at noon every day. So I probably need to try and set a different time, but anyway, I digress. Here we are at Coastal Cottage, and go back into first-person mode. Sorry about that. Gotta get used to these buttons again. I've been playing on a different console for a while. As you can see, what I've tried to do with this particular settlement is an above-ground bunker of sorts. At least that's what I intend to do, and I had to utilize several different mods to be able to get this to work. But before we take a tour inside, let's take a quick scan of the outside. You can kind of see how somewhat expansive this settlement is. It kind of can be seen from all sides. I walled in the entire area. The back side is just the main concrete structure itself. On the outside, I obviously have the gate and the guard post right out here. A few turrets set up around. There's another guard post out here. Here's a door that leads to the small shack that was originally there. With the help of a mod, I'm not sure if the mod repaired this shed. I'm pretty sure it did, actually. I'm going to close this, don't want to spoil anything. But that's one way to get into the settlement, but usually this is obviously guarded and protected by the turret, as you can see there, to make sure nothing gets inside. But with the help of a mod, this place, I got it cleaned up, at least for the best part as I could, because it repairs the shack out here. And it does something else, as I will show you in just a second. But first, let's go up here. This main area outside here is kind of like the general trading area. And this is just for travelers and visitors passing by, where they can do most of their business out here. Virtually no one else is allowed inside the compound. And there's a reason for that. Usually people who are assigned to this location will go inside the compound itself. But just out here, I tried to scatter out a few things as best I could to fill out the area, make it seem like some stuff is going on as best I could. But this is just a general kind of shop of sorts. It can be seen as a shop, but I like to think of it as like kind of a place where you can do like repair work and stuff like that, or general maintenance on your armor or weapons. There's not much that actually gets sold here by way of actual artillery. That was never kind of my intention for this area. But it's also some of the work that the settlement itself, if they need to do stuff done, this is where it gets done, as far as general repair work and stuff like that. Got the main trading outpost just here, where the caravans can come and conduct their business. They'll set up shop here. Just over here, I got the two vendors that I have. They're both just general shops out here, where people can come and do some little business and all that stuff. I tried to keep it somewhat a variety of looks about. They sell virtually anything you can think of, both general item stuff, some weapons, some clothes, some armor, but nothing too extravagant. The main purpose of this place is not to generate much money. It's meant to actually be somewhat of a secretive place, hence why certain people are not allowed inside, which I'll go into that a little bit in a while. Just another general shop here. There's another stack of items back there. Nothing too special. I'm really glad that the shopkeepers are at their posts, so that the immersive vendor mod actually works. Because for some reason, if they wander away from the place, all the items disappear off the racks, which is quite annoying. But I was able to catch it at a good time when everyone's there, which is quite wonderful. Just a nice little quaint little outdoor area that you can see here. And as always, I will give a tour of the place at night when I can. As you can see on the front part, there's obviously some turrets and lights and stuff, and there's guard posts where people can look out over the place. If, you know, push comes to shove, if heaven forbid there's an invasion, you know, they can set up their last defense right inside the compound itself. Everyone will take refuge inside. Gate gets barricaded and all that stuff, and then they retreat inside. But before we go inside, one last quick thing down here. With the help of a mod, you can actually download an actual underground tiny little bunker area. It's very small, but I did this on purpose, and I quite apologize because some of the textures still make a mess of the place, because I often will fast travel away from the area and fast travel back, and some of the stuff I scrapped will reappear. And this is probably due to a weird glitch with the scrap all mod, but hey, what can you do? Normally down here, what this would have been is just a small area that had like some bathroom stalls in the back, but as you can see, there some of the landscape is glitched inside, but those would have been there. And instead, I decided to put a couple of water purifiers down here. And there's a generator behind this wall, but I'm obviously not going to show it because it looks kind of ugly. So I decided to just try and hide it as best I could with these cinder blocks of sorts. And just the general water purifiers are down here. This is a generator here, which I ultimately want to see that as the actual main source of power for the settlement. At least that's my thought process. Obviously, there's more stuff going on as far as that's not the only thing that generates power for the place, but that's just what I wanted to make it look like. For the most part, as it provides power for the whole area. But obviously I've got some other tricks going on to make sure the entire place is powered throughout. Now, with that being said, we can finally go inside. This is actually a powered door. Obviously I could have set up a switch or something, but normally it's supposed to be, you know, a mechanical door that slides back and forth. But it's open right now, obviously. And then just inside, we've got most of the settlers going about their business. So, as you can see, and I'll just go ahead and tell you right now, the idea that I had for this is that this was a settlement that was quickly discovered by the railroad. And while, at least in the way I like to think about it is, since this is post-game play stuff, I like to think that, of course, the railroad and the Minutemen somewhat to a degree work together. At least so much as enough where they have a mutual respect for one another, but they don't they don't get into each other's way. Obviously, my Outpost Zamanja video was supposed to be, you know, that was the backup headquarters for the railroad where they had to conduct business. But what would they do as far as sending most of the synths as far as a refuge? Well, they discovered this above ground bunker, and at least in my world, everyone here except minus the ghouls, of course, are synths. But of course, we're very both the Minutemen and Railroad are very empathetic people, and so we take ghouls, and if the ghouls feel like they need a purpose in life, they can come here to assist the general living of everyone here, and all that stuff. So that's kind of the purpose of this place. And I'll point out more of it as best I can. Well, we've obviously got the elevator here. It just goes up to the second floor. There is a third floor, but I could only make it work with just the 2 floors. But that's good enough for the purposes of this settlement. Just inside here, and this took a while, guys. The mod itself that puts the bunker underneath here also puts these trees. Both these dead trees and that living one that's right in the middle. So when that happened, I thought about, you know, at least my original idea was to put, you know, some houses and stuff around, something simple. But then I thought, you know, I'll try to work around this. And so the idea for the above ground bunker came into play. And so there's just this middle area, which tends to be like the scenic, nature-y area that people can view once they're going about their business. And, you know, it's open up to the outside. Everything else is it's a screened in glass top that lets in sunlight and stuff. And I thought that really worked, and it looked great, at least from when I tried to do all my test runs going through the place. And so yeah, I really liked the way it turned out. Just over here is, well, we got the diner, where obviously everyone comes to eat when they are on shifts. Throughout the place, I realized this in hindsight, but obviously this place needs a way to air condition itself. So I had to put these industrial fans around to make it seem like some type of air filtration was getting through into the place, which only made sense. Even though it is exposed somewhat to the outside, I thought it only made sense. Obviously, the idea, of course, is since this was discovered late, the purpose for this above-ground bunker, I think, was, it's something that was designated, at least I like to think, by the military at the time as kind of a refuge for most of its personnel, and the inside was meant to somewhat resemble somewhat of an ordinary day life. So I wanted this place to look really like a diner slash cafeteria, and so I went with that feel. It does feel like a very 50-ish type of Fallout-y feeling diner, which is what I wanted to go with. And obviously over here there's someone full-time who's always in charge of cooking and food and stuff. There is another great mod that I recently found. It works like the immersive vendor mod a little bit, but it clutters up with certain things like tables and containers and stuff like that. But there is one that actually works for some of these cafe style stores of sorts. And what I had to do is, since you can't assign a settler to them, I had to glitch them over and a normal store, and so all that stuff's just overlaid slightly on top, but you can barely tell, and so that's what I did to make it work. But I really like it a lot. As far as it really brings out, it really fills out the place a lot more. I just didn't like these empty compartments here. It just really made the place feel just boring, I guess you could say. So I really was glad I was able to find that. So continuing on, just around the corner, nothing too much special down here. There's obviously the stairs that lead to the second floor, and obviously here we've got our greenhouse, and there's several people assigned to farming here. Not too much going on, just enough to get the people inside by. Obviously they do enough trading outside if they need to get other supplies, or they have caravans running back and forth. But they have a steady supply of food here in case they need it, which is gathered by the sunlight outside, and other means as far as helping them kind of vegetate the place and bring some food into the area. So there's that. Got a few things scattered around to make it look like, to kind of make the place seem a little bit more busy, of course, which again I'm really glad that I have. Just in here is the bathroom. One single bathroom. There's more, don't panic, but yeah, just a bathroom down here for people to conduct their business. Instead of going up these stairs, I'll go back around and come up these stairs. So just up here, we've got kind of a little mezzanine area. Obviously the guards will have their patrols walking around here at all times of day. It's really nice to look at this place, especially at night, where you can see people actually padding their ways through the hallways and stuff, and you can see them from one end to the other, and I really like how I was able to make that work out. That's a special mod resource thing you can assign a settler to. Normally they'd be sweeping the floors. Gotta keep the place clean somehow. Over here we've got the main actual dormitory areas where everyone sleeps, and you can see there's extensive amount of beds. Probably not everyone's asleep all at once, of course, that wouldn't make sense, at least to me. So there's just enough beds to make sure there's people that can rotate out as far as having a basic sleep schedule. And I really think it looks pretty cozy for the most part. A general barrack area, but yet they all have their own little doodads and whatnot as far as where they can store and keep their stuff, whether it's underneath the bed, in these cabinets, what have you. And then a bunch of other general stuff stored about. Really like it. Just feels like a general hangout area for the most part. Nothing too boring, and they can all kind of just, I don't know, live together and be in harmony with each other while the world outside dies slowly. No, I'm kidding. So over here is the main bathroom where there's a sink and basic stuff, but this is the only shower that there is in the entire area. And again, just like most areas, everyone has to respectfully share the shower, and unfortunately not everyone's going to probably get a shower every single day. And that's just how it is, but it's pretty upscale living for the most part compared to stuff that's out there in the terrible wasteland. But hey, I haven't heard anyone complaining yet, but only when it comes to food and water. That just seems to be the most complaints that I hear. I'm pretty sure there's nothing else on this level. I tried my best to fill out these areas here, but I figured if people are going up and down the stairs, they'll path whatever direction they need to go. But generally on this side of the settlement, there's not going to be anything, unfortunately. Again, just some more views looking from one side to the other. I really like it. So we'll go up these stairs instead. And just over here, got a little sitting area, storage area. Little stuff I try to scoot into each corner to kind of fill up the place as best I could. Here we got the security office, just over here. And there's a couple of desks around. Where places where they can keep the ammo and a few stockpile of weapons. There's probably like about 3 people here at all time in charge of security. And they're charging main security. There's other guards and stuff that may not ever come into this office, but at least if there needs to be like an official railroad representative in charge of security, they will be here. If the Minutemen need to come here, someone very important within the Minutemen, they'll come here and work here. But it's very just little quaint, small little office area. Nothing too special, just enough to conduct a little bit amount of security business. So it's pretty much that for this part. Over here, and the sun's coming in. It's looking great, or it's going to into dawn. We've got the clinic over here, and I was lucky enough to take advantage of some more mods to really fill out this place and make it feel like an actual small little clinic, which works to the settlement's, at least the feel and look of this place. Obviously, there's going to be people who need treatment. A few beds over here for the sick and ill. And fortunately, no one's sick or injured, which is great. But chances are the settlers will probably come and sleep here at night because, of course, they would. And yeah, I got a few people here just assigned to general medical stuff. Oh, come on, the food's not short. Y'all are fine. And just over here, and of course, I wanted to take advantage of this because I thought it made sense for a place like this. Because it was something that was probably meant to be here before the bombs fell, or at least what they had in mind when they built this place. But it's a general barbershop salon area. We've got someone assigned to being a barber where you can get your hair cut, and you've got some supplies and stuff over here. Looks pretty filled out. Looks pretty great. I like it a lot. And the general little lobby area. Probably one of the more little nicer decorated areas. Obviously, it's meant to be kind of a... I don't know, that's what it is. It's a salon / barbershop. And if anyone wants any place that feels less than normal, or the less than what feels like the common wasteland appeal, this will be it, as far as how decorated and stuff it is. A little step away from reality, I guess you could say. And just over here, we've got a couple of more guard posts where they can look out over this area. The settlement line is just over this area over here, so obviously this was the limits as to where I could build from. If you were to go onto the side and look up, you would just see just a solid concrete wall, few turrets on both sides, and the spotlights that are shining out onto there. And that's pretty much it. Nothing too special about that. And guys, I think that's pretty much it for this settlement. Again, despite the size of Coastal Cottage, I was really glad of what I was able to pull off here. I think it looks fantastic. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but just kind of how I feel. I was able to pack in here in such a little space. So, as always, I don't think I'm forgetting anything. No, I don't think I'm forgetting anything. As always, I will now give y'all a tour of the place at night. I will just fumble my way back out of here. Give me just 1 second.
Another day of hard work. feel so hungry all the time.
If you work, you eat. It's simple as that. You know what I call a good day? One that ends without an empty stomach.
Hi, how are you?
Crops been growing pretty good lately.